and gentlemen, a pick in for the Tennessee Titans. With the 7th overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select J.C. Latham, offensive tackle, Alabama.
Solve a need, baby. You solved your need. You solved the biggest need you had coming into this thing. J.C. Latham, Bill Callahan getting his hands on him. I'm excited to see what happens.
Man.
How are we feeling? I mean, I will say my initial reaction, I'll let you go so I can get out some tweets here and get people into the show. But I think if you were a Titans fan coming into the draft going Joe Alt or a playmaker, you're probably feeling underwhelmed right now. And that's not to say J.C. Latham can't be a really good player and a really good fit for the Titans. But J.C. Latham at 7, like Lucas said, a guy who I thought was a candidate for them in a trade back, and them pulling the trigger on Latham at 7 is a bit surprising and potentially underwhelming if you were doing a mock draft and dreaming up scenarios for the Titans.
Yeah, and I'll say this, just because J.C. Latham is the pick doesn't mean that he is moving to that left side. Maybe that's the situation. Maybe Bill Callahan has said, I can make that guy a Pro Bowl left tackle, but it's not like the Titans don't have a need at right tackle, guys. I mean, are we all comfortable with Nicholas Petit-Frere holding down that right side of the offensive line? I mean, I don't know what the solution would be at left tackle. Maybe it's a value piece down the road and picking up an Andres Pete as that veteran stopgap that's still on the market. I'm not sure, but if any offensive line coach not named Bill Callahan was on this coaching staff, I'd feel real iffy about this pick. But again, maybe it's a cop-out. I am stepping back and saying, okay, if this is the pick, then that means Bill Callahan signed off on it. And who am I to sit here and say that I don't like it?
Yeah, I think it's a, the first question that needs to be asked at that press conference is, do you foresee J.C. Latham playing right or left tackle? And they did talk at their recent press conference previewing the draft about most guys in college football nowadays cross-train, like they have the ability to do both. But people can remind you, Joe Alt is a left tackle with a team that is playing a left tackle in Rashawn Slater. He might have to move to right, but he also used to be a tight end and moved to left tackle. And so, like, good athletes that have good footwork and good hands usually can make the transition. That, I think, is the $1 million question, though, because then you start to get into Peter Skoronski territory again, another guy who I like a lot. But if you came away back-to-back years with the 11th overall pick and 7th overall pick, you went left guard, right tackle, it feels like you're neglecting a pretty big hole here at the left side of this offensive line, and you're playing a dangerous game if you're banking on that guy being there at 38.
Sure, but don't just draft a left tackle to draft a left tackle. Right?
Absolutely.
Like go get a dog. And J.C. Latham is a dog and has been a dog. He was the top offensive tackle when he came out of high school in 2021, 5-star player. I mean, he's got good lateral movement. He's a dog in the run game. If he gets his hands on you in pass protection, you're getting shoved into a locker. You better call your buddy over with a code because you're going straight into a locker if J.C. Latham has his hands on you. This guy is ready to play right now and make an impact.
Yeah, here's some stuff from our guy, James Foster, over at A to Z Sports Film Room, a full breakdown. J.C. Latham, he had as a mid-first round grade. Some of the strengths he highlights are his flexible hips, routine inside hand placement, really good grip strength, and patient, controlled, and refined in pass protection. Combines power and finesse at the second level. Impressive location skills in open space with strength and tenacity to finish. Latham is a guy who I know is just praised for being a really good run blocker, sheerly because of his size. He is really able to displace run blockers and create big holes. And so potentially something the Titans love there with Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. The weakness is average fluidity and movement skills, limited experience taking deep vertical sets. Pocket range was rarely tested. 18 penalties over the last 2 seasons at Alabama. So there's a quick write-up for J.C. Latham. Arm length over 35 inches there. That'll do just fine. 342 pounds, a little bit over 6'5". So a mammoth human being for sure. Yeah. That is now in two-tone blue.
It's an iceberg out there. Okay. And pull James Foster's pros and cons up one more time. Yep. I want y'all to look at the cons column here. Now, of these cons, which con is not able to be coached out of him, right? Limited experience in deep vertical sets. That's coachable. Occasionally leans down into blocks, coachable. Limited experience blocking wide zone, coachable. 18 penalties over the last 2 seasons. You can fix that. All of these cons are that's room to grow for JC Latham. I think that's encouraging that his only cons are fixable by coaching. And lo and behold, you have the best offensive line coach in the game in Bill Callahan to tweak his game and fine tune it and develop him into an all-pro left tackle, right tackle, wherever the Titans line him up at in 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lucas, I'll let you go real quick and rebuttal that. I just want to share a shocker. The first shocker of the draft just happened. The Atlanta Falcons are drafting Michael Penix Jr.
Wow.
So
No way.
Kirk Cousins is on their roster, and they are pulling the trigger on the Washington quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. That one's difficult to justify for me. I'm not sure I get it a ton, but wow, any team sitting at 11, Minnesota Vikings sitting there. I mean, the Falcons have now cut the Vikings out of 2 quarterbacks in the last month and a half. They were probably sitting there at 11 thinking, isn't it nice to get your guy? And
JJ McCarthy.
I guess JJ McCarthy is still there.
He's still on the board. Wow. Who had JJ McCarthy being on the board with Michael Penix going at the number 8 pick? I was thinking edge rusher for sure here for the Atlanta Falcons that have not had a competent edge rusher since who? Vic Beasley's lone big season for the Atlanta Falcons. So that is a shocker, Sam. You're absolutely right. And I mean, one of those 3 teams are licking their chops right now at the idea of getting J.J. McCarthy in there. And if the Vikings don't end up with him, then Kevin O'Connell will hate the Atlanta Falcons more than any other team in the National Football League because I believe he wanted to keep Kirk Cousins. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, to the point of J.C. Latham, again, you mentioned the first question that you want to hear is will he play left or right? And for me, the second question is how hard did you try to trade out of 7? Did you field calls trying to trade out of 7? I am very curious to know if the Titans tried to do that, or maybe they come out and they tell us it was JC Latham all along, right? When a school hires a new coach and was our number 1 choice all along. Maybe that's what we get from the Tennessee Titans brass in their presser after the first round today. But I'm still kind of reeling after that Michael Penix pick. I did not expect him to go 8 to the Falcons with McCarthy still on the board. Wow.